Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Gonna wait another 30 seconds or so. Good evening to welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting of Thursday, November 6th. We're going to begin with a report from the Freshwater Initiative overview by the Cape Cod Commission. And just introduce yourselves when you come up. That would be great.
Good evening. I'm Erin Perry, Deputy Director at the Cape Cod Commission.
And I'm Heather McElroy, a Natural Resource Manager at the Cape Cod Commission. Nice to be here.
Yes, very nice to be here. We appreciate being invited to share some information on the freshwater strategy and all of the work and resources really that have been developed as a result. So we won't cover everything that is in the freshwater strategy this evening, or certainly not the entire process that kind of went into development of that plan. But we'll really try to focus on some of the resources that are available today, and certainly the recommendations of the strategy, some of the things that we think might be most of interest to you all, but happy to answer any questions that you might have tonight or at a later time, and continue to share resources as you work and move forward with local planning on these issues. So the freshwater strategy was the result of a broader planning process called the Freshwater Initiative. It was funded by Barnstable County, so we were fortunate to receive significant funding from the county to conduct the work and to conduct a larger monitoring program across the region, which we'll touch a little bit on today too. The strategy really was developed as a result of significant data analysis, research, and community engagement. It included engagement of water resources specialists, of experts on different strategies and management approaches, interested community members and pond organizations, town staff and representatives, as well as the business community and many others. So we are very pleased with the result and hope that everybody that contributed to it sees kind of their input in that plan as well. And so we'll just jump right in. We know that freshwater resources in the region are significant. There are a number of ponds across all of the communities on Cape Cod. We have 890 freshwater ponds in total. They are wide-ranging in terms of their physical characteristics. We have some very large ponds. We have many small ponds. Really, the concentration of kettle hole ponds here in the region is globally unique. We have ponds that are stocked with fish and some that are adjacent to cranberry bogs and have contributed to that industry over time. We have done a relatively good job as a region protecting open space in the buffer areas to ponds, but we also know that our ponds are facing impacts and threats from impervious surfaces in those buffer areas as well. So as part of the Freshwater Initiative, we really worked to, let me see if, there we go. We really worked to collect a lot of that baseline information to kind of tell the story and provide data about the ponds across the region. We have developed these kind of pond profiles, which provide a lot of the information on kind of the physical characteristics of the ponds, water quality initiatives, projects that have been implemented locally or by other organizations across the Cape. And we have a pond profile for Barnstable County. We also have a pond profile for each of the individual towns, and we'll share a link at the end of this where you can access all of the information that we touch on. So there is a profile for all of the 15 communities that provides kind of town-specific information about the freshwater resources and the ongoing work in your community. I think I'm pointing this in the wrong direction, sorry. Oh, too far. We also conducted an economic analysis as part of the Freshwater Initiative, and the findings of that informed the freshwater strategy. There is a whole full report on the economic analysis and the findings of that. What we were really working to do was better understand the economic contributions of our ponds across the Cape. And so that report details all of the findings. It talks about visitation. So our ponds across Cape Cod see between 1.3 and 1.7 estimated visits on an annual basis. It talks about the spending that has been estimated associated with those visits across the Cape. It touches on the impact that clean water in our ponds has on property values and rental prices. You can see that on the sheet here in the summary that homes near a pond with clear water will sell or rent for more than similar homes near a pond with algal issues. And that sales price premium is over $22,000, and the weekly rental increase of nearly $200 across the region. Certainly varies by community. It also talks a little bit about findings from surveys that looked to estimate Cape residents and non-resident homeowners' support for different management approaches and really provide, a more holistic picture of the importance of our ponds across the Cape beyond those kind of significant environmental resources and ecosystems that they provide. So the freshwater strategy has a section where we're really characterizing and defining the problem. We know that problems and challenges in our freshwater ponds are complex, and I'll touch on kind of the summary of the threats to our ponds that kind of surfaced through this process. But we also know we have challenges that make management difficult, and there were challenges associated with data and information availability that we wanted to address through this process. And so touching on some of the threats to ponds, I think when we initiated this process, we anticipated that there were certain uses that were impacting our ponds, but through the process we were able to really better define and identify some of the sources. If you don't mind advancing, sorry. Thank you. So the threats to pond health are all interrelated. We know that the way we have used land over time is impacting our freshwater ponds. Excess nutrients are traveling through groundwater and from wastewater and stormwater, along with other pollutants that are impacting the ability of our ponds to function as they should. They are resulting in algal blooms that in some cases negatively impact the use of our ponds and certainly the habitats and the ecosystems in those ponds. Erosion along our pond shores is delivering some of those nutrients into our ponds. Sediment in our ponds is increasing turbidity and resulting in poor water clarity. We also know we have challenges with invasive species and the invasive species that are really impacting the ability of our native species to thrive. And climate change kind of across the board, increased water temperatures are kind of exacerbating and magnifying the impacts of all of those threats. And so the freshwater strategy discusses in detail kind of the ways in which these threats are impacting our ponds and how they are interrelated. And then we also know, as I mentioned, that we have challenges that make it difficult for us to target management strategies and approaches to the threats that we are facing. So we have limited data collection and access to that data from the historical data that has been collected. There has been a lot of work across the Cape for many decades to collect data and information on our freshwater resources. The Pond and Lake Stewardship Program is one of those programs that has been dedicated to this work for a long time. But it was a snapshot monitoring program, essentially taking 1 or 2 samples every year, and not always from the same group of ponds. They were very opportunistic in how they approached that work, and really making it makes it difficult for us to look at trends over time in a given pond or from year to year, season to season. And so understanding kind of the state of historic monitoring, we really wanted to look at how we could expand data collection and analysis, collect more data, make that data available, and make some trend analysis available for our communities. And so a focus of the Freshwater Initiative was really on that data piece. And so I'll just touch quickly on that. We are now wrapping up the 3rd year of a regional pond monitoring program for the Cape. We began this initiative 3 years ago with 50 representative ponds that vary in terms of their characteristics and geographic spatial coverage, vary in their water quality status and the types of uses, really working to identify a broad range of ponds to give us a more holistic understanding of the state of our ponds across the Cape. We have been fortunate to have that funding through Barnstable County to be able to conduct that work over the first 3 years of the monitoring program. And more recently, the Cape Cod and Islands Water Protection Fund Management Board has dedicated funding to continue that program. And we are also looking at opportunities to expand it to more ponds. And through the Freshwater Initiative, we also developed this the Cape Cod Water Quality Data Portal, expanded that work to include freshwater pond monitoring data. So all of the data that is being collected through the Regional Pond Monitoring Program is available and accessible through this interface, as is historical monitoring data from the Pond and Lake Stewardship Program and a number of other monitoring initiatives across the region. So we've been able to compile the data here, make it available. We've conducted some trend analysis, and we have the ability to continue to do that through this portal as more information is added to it, and make that available so that communities who are focused on management actions and initiatives can understand kind of the state of the ponds that they are working on. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Heather to talk about some remaining aspects of the plan.
Great, thanks. So through the stakeholder engagement process that Erin touched on, we heard from a lot of entities that wanted more strategies, to learn more about strategies that could be used to tackle water quality problems in our ponds. So this is something we dug into, starting with just staff at the Cape Cod Commission doing a lot of research on existing strategies used here in Massachusetts, but also looking beyond Massachusetts, and compiling as much information as we could into a database, and sort of binning or pooling that information into these different categories, so that users could sorry, I'm tripping all over myself here. Information is structured in such a way that you can identify strategies that are going to be useful in ponds, strategies that are going to be most applicable around pond shores, and then strategies that are more applicable at the watershed scale. Things like changing in regulations that would affect how we use land, and each strategy also identifies the threats that it addresses. Not all strategies are going to address all of those threats, but some will address multiple threats. So we sort of ran all of this information through a technical advisory group that helped us vet the information and make it as accurate as possible, and outputted it into a series of really great fact sheets with great illustrations. We think the illustrations are really helpful in conveying the concepts. And there's a ton of information on these fact sheets, and they address these different management approaches. Whether you're trying to get at planning and regulation in watersheds, you're trying to do a nutrient management approach, or you're trying to manage sediment or algae, invasive species, or fisheries management. One of the tools that we developed that is sort of a living project is called the Pond Restoration Project Viewer. We've been collecting information on ponds where we know some kind of management action has been taken. Thank you. Where a management action has been taken, and we've collected a bunch of information about the nature of that action. What was the action meant to address? Was it successful? Some takeaways. All of that is available through this viewer. You can click on one of these dots, and the information will pop up. You can sort it so that if you're interested in, say, just strategies that will address nutrient management, those will be highlighted, and you can focus in on those. And as I said, this is a living resource that we hope to continue to add information to as new projects are proposed and conducted around the Cape. And so then another resource that we're pleased with was a response to, again, stakeholder input, and really pond groups across the Cape said that they needed something that they could help use to educate pond shore property owners about how to better manage the buffer areas to the ponds. You all are probably likely very aware of the alterations to private property adjacent to water bodies. And so this Cape Cod freshwater pond buffer guidance is something that we developed with a contractor and another technical working group to provide guidance on how to improve the protection of our wetland buffers, or pond buffers specifically. So this is just a snapshot of one of the pages, and I should say we made a small print run, as it were. We printed a number of hard copies, and we delivered those to all of the conservation departments across the Cape. So Brittany has one? Yes, great. It's also available as PDF online. This is a snapshot of one of the pages, and it's addressing why is it important to protect pond buffers. It also gets into the characteristics of a healthy pond buffer. Ideally, you have no development in that first 100 feet to a water body. That there's a diversity of species. There's different layers of vegetation from trees, shrubs, and ground covers. Natural litter is left to remain where it falls, so we're not doing a lot of maintenance in these areas. And there's some great graphics throughout that try to help illustrate the concepts. It was a landscape architecture team and ecological restoration group that prepared this document. There are 11 conceptual plans that help, not meant to be used as is, but help illustrate how to introduce new plantings into an existing landscape. Again, lots of detail there to sort of chew over and help ideate on. And then we have a wonderful collection of first photographs of native species that can be used to vegetate our pond buffers. There are photographs. There's also an extensive list, and the list is structured in such a way that you can learn sort of quickly whether a species, what its light and water requirements are, and some of its habitat benefits and aesthetic benefits. Does it have fall color? Is it providing berries, et cetera? So this is really a great resource. We see the plant list that came out of this project as being useful beyond just sort of buffer applications. I think anyone who's looking to vegetate their property with native species will benefit from this list. And we're actually outputting it as a separate product from the buffer guide. So there will be a PDF available on our website soon with just this great plant list. And yeah, there's the web address and QR code if you want to grab it from there. But I'll leave it at that on the buffer guide. The last thing I just wanted to touch on is the recommendations that came out of the strategy. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. There were a number of key recommendations that resulted from the many meetings that we had with stakeholders over the 2 years of the Freshwater Initiative. And we output those into the strategy. I think one of the key takeaways is that, as Erin touched on the economic study that was conducted, most Cape Codders and visitors to the region are aware of and appreciate our ponds, and we're all going to need to participate in helping to protect them. But there are a few key recommendations that the Cape Cod Commission has committed to continue to work on, including supporting that regional pond monitoring program and supporting it through funding and administration, taking the data that is collected from that monitoring program and managing the data in the Cape Cod Water Quality Data Portal, which Aaron mentioned, and continuing to make that available to the public, helping communities find funding for various water quality improvement projects, and also importantly, I think perhaps of interest to this group is an effort to develop a model wetlands regulation guideline specifically for activities adjacent to ponds. So with that, I'll stop and we can take any questions you might have.
Anybody, Commissioner, have a question?
Well, I want to congratulate you on pursuing the freshwater. Sort of been behind some of the other efforts. And I think that and make a case for the Long Pond in Yarmouth to get on your list.
For the regional pond monitoring program?
I was a little disappointed to see it not on there.
Okay. Yeah, as Aaron mentioned, we are looking to expand that program, so there's a potential to add ponds. So we'll definitely look into that.
But congratulations on that, really good. Particularly that buffer report was nice and a little large, but. And I guess a recommendation for that from me would be if you could simplify that and make it more available to the general public and particularly the businesses that serve the public for landscapers, et cetera.
When you say simplify, what are you thinking of?
Well, the pond guidance report is pretty heavy it's okay for a professional or semi-professional maybe, but I would argue that it needs some kind of distribution in a lighter mode.
Got it.
That's something we have found. I think that there are elements of it already that people are typically looking for, like the plant list, so we can think about ways to split that out and make some of the resources more easily available.
I really like your fact sheets, especially with permeable reactive barriers. I know that the town DPW has been looking for a sufficient location that's appropriate for that because there's a lot of grant funding available for implementing that type of thing. So I really appreciate the fact sheets that go into each specific solution and strategy. And we would definitely look forward to seeing that plant list by itself for our website.
Soon.
The Barnstable County Cooperative Extension list is only so old and does not provide that much information.
Agreed.
Yes, you had a slide, I think it was in the applications, and there was a machine going into the pond. Is that to remove invasive species? What was that? What does that machine do?
Yeah, that is a
about halfway.
machine, a boat.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's impressive, owned by the town of Brewster. And it is a weed harvester.
Yeah.
So it is aquatic weeds, may be choking certain ponds, and this goes through and, basically harvests it sort of the way a land-based harvester would, collects it, and then they dispose of those weeds in some land-based, compost them perhaps, I'm not sure how they dispose of it, but
Thank you.
yeah.
Anybody else? Can I ask questions from the audience if they want it?
Yeah.
Anybody in the audience have a question? Okay, well, thank you very much.
It's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys coming.
Okay, go on to our first notice of intent, SE 83, 2502, Cape Cod Engineering for Cynthia Richards, Great Island Road Bridge, proposed bridge repairs and land subject to coastal flooding and land under the ocean.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Green cards, are you? I am Bob Perry, Cape Cod Engineering. Craig Field, the general manager of the Great Island Homeowners Association, is with me. We were before you a month or two ago about an RDA for the Great Island Road Bridge. That was the first phase of some work. The second phase of the report came in, and so a second phase that involves grouting of some of the voids that have been observed beneath the road surface in the rather informal stone abutments is the primary mission here. There's also the mention of some shims just below the main bridge deck. And I think the choice was made by the organization to file a notice of intent so that the commission felt that there's a few more belts and suspenders in the application. I think the greatest amount of work that would cause for, a work limit adherence is the removal of the pavement on the two bridge ramps, where they're going to saw cut the pavement. If you've been out there, it's a pretty, it's been paved a couple of times. There's a steel plate on the main span, and the program here is to weld on two new plates each side of the main span within the road lane itself. So the bearing is distributed better, and it's below that zone where the grouting is proposed. It would be pressure grouted, relatively a slow flow process, and we earmarked the locations for where that's going to occur. Since it is underground, it's been sensed using, longer, small camera, orthoscopic type things, but there is no way to predict exactly how much material is going to go in there. But it is a pumped process. Any observations of grout that's escaping from a void will be caught and plugged with a sandbag or something temporarily while the grout sets up. And so our position was that with a work limit adhered on the fence lines, the work would be carried out carefully. Material that was removed would be immediately put into a truck. There is no outward effect in the direction of the salt marsh. I've spoken to the foreman of the crew that would be doing this, and we're all on the same page about how the work would proceed. And once the steel plates are in and observations have been made and the grout is done, it would simply repave the two bridge approaches, and it would be much like it is today. So that's the summary. I don't think I've left anything out. We don't anticipate any collateral effects outside of where we show on our second page of plan set. There's a riprap that lines the road embankments there, and we anticipate some foot traffic, but certainly no machinery or anything like that that's going out into the marsh. So that's the summary of this. Be happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Anybody in the commission have a question? I have a few, so I'll start. Do you have a question, Pat? I can't see your hand.
No, go ahead.
Seems that you come to us often for lots of reasons. Is this a permanent, you think this is a permanent fix, or is this a short-term fix?
Well, I would put it in the context of temporary, but it's on the order of 5 to 10 years temporary.
Okay.
The purpose of the grout is to just make sure that any voids that are forming within what is, it's kind of an ancient abutment, riprap, don't cause immediate pavement collapses.
Mhm.
And the steel plate, of course, goes further. But it's, and you think of the work that's gone on in Great Island in the last 20 years, every truck, deliveries, earthwork has all used this bridge. So there's a combination of fatigue, but also time-tested. And you just, I don't think it's a plan to just say, well, it's worked all those decades, let's just keep using it. I think there's a plan afoot that would be on a 10-year, you're not going to see it 5, 10 years where the bridge might be replaced.
Answers 2 questions. When you came a couple months ago and you saw these, how come these holes weren't found then?
Good question. I don't have an answer for that except the timing of the remedy. I think Great Island felt that they wanted to cure some immediate observable issues while they awaited a more in-depth remedy for what's below the road. I know that when we came to you, this was on the radar, but it wasn't formulated enough.
And I assume on full moons like tonight, sometimes that gets washed, flooded.
Oh, yes. I haven't been there today. I know we had a wild wind. Maybe it blew water offshore here. I don't know. I didn't see the tides on the south side. I know we've had some high water in the north side. But this bridge has been overwashed a number of times. It stood the test of time. This is just making sure that until there's a full plan for a much more significant project, that it serves the purpose that it was always intended for, without.
I assume that full plan will include the road too, that we've been talking about for years.
Yeah, I don't see another location for this access to the island, but the future could hold an elevation change.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for the detail and the survey that you did, but more specifically on the 3rd page, where the pictures are,
Yes.
what am I looking at, the bottom right corner there? Am I looking
Okay,
down?
yeah,
What is that?
that's a slab of concrete that,
Oh, no, to the right of that, like,
yeah, it's like a cavern, got an
Yes.
arch appearance.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a washout underneath one of the earlier efforts to probably not add grout, but to mortar over or concrete over. Portions of this area have had added measures. I think that's one where, when that concrete was placed, everything was fine. And 5, 10 years later, there's been some erosion beneath it.
so how are you going to repair that?
Well, there's actually riprap underneath it, and I believe that there would be some grouting there that would have the effect of
So
adding to the mass.
So all of this is going to be, you think grouting is sufficient for this repair, all of these?
That's all they can do at the moment.
That's all, just
The steel plates are very important, but
But I mean, you're not going to pour, there's no concrete or anything planned?
the grout's a form of concrete. It's Portland cement. It's low strength. It flows. It's probably high water content, but there's no expansion of the footprint. It's really just an effort to,
It's all handwork.
no, it's pumped in, and there would be some application where needed of sandbagging to keep the grout in place temporarily
How does
until
that work?
until it sets up.
How does that work, the sandbagging?
Excuse me?
How does the sandbagging work?
Oh, well, they're about 90 pounds apiece, and they would, in a location like this, those would be stacked. The grout would be pumped in there, and the sandbags are intended to prevent any grout from leaving the projection of the area. They would capably, I think, withstand the slurry.
So you don't expect it to go in the water at all?
Nope. Although the water's going to go over the bridge, but it's anticipated that this will set It's the same topic we discussed with the last time with the grout, or the mortaring of the joints. This would not be done during high tide, it would be done at a period of low tide, and this material would set, so it's not going to be dissolved in water. It would set, and then water would wash over it.
So it'll set in less than 6 hours?
Excuse me?
So it will set in less than 6 hours?
Certainly enough so that it does not dissolve. It's concrete. It's going to set, water will affect its surface, but it's not going to dissolve it.
Okay, and the sandbags are only going to be placed on the existing riprap and not in the water?
Correct, but the sandbags are contingency. If there's observed grout that's slumping or getting out, the sandbags will be there to plug that. It's an imperfect process.
So are people going to be there waiting for the full 6 hours until it sets to make sure nothing is seeping out?
Absolutely. Oh, no, true. Well, if you watch some of this behave, I think the concrete will set reasonably well within a couple of hours. But it's just a matter of, it's not the kind of thing that's going to slump out of there after a couple of hours. But if you need observation for the period until we have a tide change, that's not a problem.
And so you say pressure grouting, but there's not going to be so much pressure that when the void is filled, it's going to escape all holes.
That's exactly the point of the observation,
Yeah.
because if there is an observed effect of grout getting out of any of the voids where it's unanticipated, that's going to cause for a change in the program. You plug that area, and you grout in a different manner. It's just not a perfect process.
Okay. Have you done this type of work before?
I have not. I have seen grouting. It's my understanding that we do have a local company that's actually installing sewers now that will probably be doing this work.
And have they done this type of work before?
Yes.
We asked the name of the company?
I think it's
Robert
Robert
Dower.
Dower. No free advertising, but matter of record.
Anything else, Brittany?
No, if they're confident, I would recommend that the commission include observation until the grout is set. And no work outside the asphalt line, except as needed to fill the sandbags, to place the sandbags.
Anybody else in the commission have a question?
I'll just, as you know, sometimes I go out of the boundaries of the commission. I'm really curious as to how you're planning replacement. You obviously don't know that much about load limit, what the load limit is of this particular bridge, yet you have a lot of heavy, like you said, a lot of different kind of construction trucks going down there. And I'm just, are you financially and so forth?
I don't have the number, but I believe this bridge was load rated, probably in the late 90s. And I'm going to guess, but I think there's a bunch of bridges that may have load rating per design. But then you go down the road 50 years, it's not the same. But this really is one of those cases where it has stood the test of time. We've checked the elevations of this. The survey that was related to the licensing back in 2014. We've checked the elevations recently. It hasn't budged vertically.
Well, it's private property, it's your, and it's an association that I think you folks are going to be looking at then in the long haul, so I'm just curious as to how you were approaching it.
Oh, it's a significant issue, no question, with sea level change and the tide that's already affecting the causeway. It's a very interesting coastal management study for you to be front row seats. You'll be involved. So stand by.
We get out there fairly often.
Could I just be more specific on the condition that just suggests that there be 24/7 monitoring, while the concrete is setting? I mean, it's going to be longer, I think, than.
I just wrote grout shall be observed until set, unless you'd like to be more specific.
That covers it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any escaping grout may not be allowed to enter wetland or water body. The work limit line shall be on the pavement edge, and sandbags may only be placed on the riprap.
And we did put all of that in our application, so in the narrative write-up, we were clear on really the reason why we filed this as a notice of intent and not an RDA. So you have an order of conditions that goes with your approval.
And for the pre-construction meeting, I'd like to be, like, when you're planning to do the work, I'd like to be there for the pre-construction meeting instead of ahead of time. So have all the crews there, ready to go before low tide or before the change of tide. I'd like to see how they're going to start.
Sure. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Anybody online, raise your hand. I don't see anybody raising their hand. You?
That's me.
DMF.
Okay.
DMF also just included their standard conditions, no washing equipment, no refueling on site,
All good,
work at low tide.
agreement.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept? So moved with conditions? Jack, second? Pat?
Second.
Thank you. Have all in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? So it's passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you know when you want to do this? Do you need,
I don't.
okay.
Craig, do you know when this is happening?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting for some pricing.
Okay.
Thank you for talking about it with us, and
Thank you.
Thanks.
have a good night.
Sorry, I couldn't get you out of here more
Thank
speedy.
you for helping with that agenda for me.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Aye.
Next, notice of intent, SE 83 22501, Cape Cape Engineering for John Sarajan, 53 Aunt Lane, after the fact filing for a dock and floats in salt marsh, land under the ocean, land containing shellfish, and land subject to coastal flooding, and they're asking for a continuance. We don't have a date to continue to.
Yes, they have to go to the Waterways and Shellfish Advisory Committee, which they're meeting on November 20th, so they've requested continuance to December 4th.
Okay. I hear a motion to accept the continuance. So moved, Ellie. Second, Jack. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So we'll go to the next one.
December
Okay, SE 83 2442, CDM Smith for the town of Yarmouth, Route 280, Route 28, permitted SOAR and 3 pumping stations, proposed relocation of a pumping station.
Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mike Judici from CDM Smith, representing the town of Yarmouth. Just to give you a quick overview, we submitted a request for a plan revision to an order of conditions that the commission issued just over a year ago. And this is for several components of the Phase 1 of the town's comprehensive wastewater management plan. We had submitted, the original order was issued for several pumping stations in contracts 5 and 6, in addition to crossing underneath the Parkers River Bridge with the horizontal directional drill. Since that time, there was a lot of discussion and a non-binding town meeting article that passed last December requesting that one of the pumping stations be relocated. This is pumping station number 2 that's in contract 6. So we've been working with the town over the last number of months trying to find a suitable alternative location. The original location was at 316 Route 28. We have found an alternative site and redesigned the pumping station accordingly. The town has just executed an easement with the property owner at 280 Route 28. So the site is just a couple of hundred feet to the west of the original location. The components of the pumping station are exactly as they were under the original order that was issued. They've just been reconfigured a little bit to fit on the new site, but all the components are exactly the same, perform the same function. It actually results in less impact to resource areas. There's no impact to the 35-foot no disturb zone or the 50-foot buffer zone. and there's less impact than the original location to land subject to coastal storm flowage. We have submitted with the request a new stormwater report. So all the stormwater from the site will be sent through a hydrodynamic separator and into a subsurface infiltration system. So the post-development flow rate and it was actually less than existing conditions. So the stormwater report lays out how we comply with the 10 state standards, and the system's been designed in accordance with the Massachusetts Stormwater Handbook. Happy to take any questions that you may have.
Okay, just a comment first is, nothing was staked out for us, and usually we require staking so we know where the building is going to actually.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, but we can.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for the revision. It does, reduce the impact. I just had a concern on your comment, well, not a comment, but you say dewatering may be necessary. I would suggest that it will be necessary.
It will definitely be necessary, yes.
6, yeah, so.
Probably not the best wording in that, but yes.
And then you follow, that is your proposed methodology for the dewatering.
Correct, yes.
So you will be dewatering.
We certainly will be dewatering. The wet well, this is a submersible pumping station, so the wet well will be on the order of 25 feet deep or so. So they'll have to install sheeting, and there'll certainly be dewatering, yes.
And what note, is there a detail on the dewatering? I missed it.
We don't necessarily, that's a means and methods for the contractor, but they're required to, put it through a sedimentation basin and,
Okay,
similar
I'd
to.
like to see a dewatering detail be submitted prior to the
Where the water's going.
building permit, yeah.
So what you're putting there is not going to have any effect on the Cranberry Bog or the
It's on the adjacent parcel, so no impact on the bog, so that's correct.
Any other questions?
Curious about the, it's high enough, I guess, that you don't need any kind of retaining walls or protection walls. You're able to depend on the slopes and the plantings and high water.
Correct, and no retaining wall is required. If you're familiar with the site, it is a pretty decent slope up from the access road into the bogs up to the site. This area is actually the location of the leach field for the tile building at this point, and that will be replaced on a temporary basis prior to construction. But the site is elevated to up to about elevation 11 or 12. The first floor of our control building that houses all the electrical equipment has to be at elevation 14, so we're 3 feet above the 100-year flood elevation of elevation 11. So there'll be a small amount of fill put in at the top of the site, but it's not so high that we can't just grade it off to meet the existing grades at the toe of the slope, the existing slope.
So you're pretty comfortable that over the years with climate change and the number of storms we get in by year 10, 20, you're still going to be protected. You're not going to see it eroding around.
That's the purpose of that 3 feet above the 100-year flood. That's an extra conservative elevation that we design all our facilities to. It's a more of a
It starts
requirement.
eating away at the base out there on the water. I'm just,
I don't foresee an issue with that, Zach. Jack. They're following the building code that requires the elevation of the first floor.
Once the vegetation takes place, it'll stabilize the slopes on the sides.
see in 20 years.
Yeah.
Pat, you have anything?
Is there some concern about the plantings, red cedar and the other
Yeah, I sent Magdalena a note. Red cedar shouldn't be planted with Amelanchier species because of all the rust. It requires both species to complete its life cycle. So if you could just swap out probably the serviceberry, the Amelanchier, with something else.
Okay.
So
I
that that
I
doesn't-
remember you sending that comment, and I
Yeah.
thought we had addressed that. So I thought we had changed the plantings to,
I didn't get a revised plan. So if you could just send us the
so
plan.
is it the serviceberry that's the issue?
Yeah, the serviceberry.
Okay.
And in the dewatering, just be clear on where the discharge is going.
And my only other comment is I just saw last second that you have a stockade fence going up. Since you're in the flood zone, you'll just need to have 6 inches of clearance below the fence. And I could put that in the special conditions.
Great. I thought we were showing that on the detail, but we may not have.
It's hard to read some of it,
Yeah,
a lot of detail.
apologize.
Detail's good.
Anybody in the audience, questions or comments?
I may not have looked at the details.
Are you done, Brittany?
Yes, I'm all set. Thank you.
No, we should-
Anybody online? Raise your hand. I don't see any hand raised.
Oh, you're right. We're showing
Can I
2
hear
inch.
a motion to accept with special conditions? Jack?
Yep.
Second.
Second, Pat? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If
Brittany.
you could send me that revised plan with
Okay.
the plans. Thanks.
Okay, that's that one. All right, next one is SE 832375, request for a revised plan by Leonard D'Orlando, 17 Wild Rose Terrace. Permitted addition after the fact plan for additional hardscape in a buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland.
Hi, guys.
Yourself, that
I'm
would be
Lenny
great.
Dorlando. It's my wife, Maria.
You could just describe the proposed changes that happened since the approved plan, and then the commission will ask you questions.
Sure. What we've done since the approved plan is we put in when we put the addition in, we had a bunch of large boulders removed from the ground, and we put them aside, and at the time, I had even asked Brittany if it was okay to leave them there. And what I wound up doing, and my ignorance, I had no idea that this wasn't wasn't conforming with the 100-foot buffer zone. But I went ahead and put them in a circle and made a fire pit. So I guess that's that, and part of a new patio that we had done is what's in question today. And happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Any other questions? Comments?
I just was confused about is there any additional hardscape?
Yeah, so this
What
this
is,
gravel fire pit pad and this gravel at the bottom are both new from the original permitted addition, which is over here, which was it's the mitigation that's shown in the small, I guess the larger spacing hatch. It's already in, that's for the addition, and they're proposing the additional mitigation for the new hardscape that they had done.
okay. It just wasn't clear.
Yeah, so we usually just ask that these accompany with a narrative, which we left out, but I sent you and Dan some site plan comments.
Yes.
So mostly, I just have concerns with the site plan. It doesn't meet our site plan requirements to be a plan of record for an order of conditions. We just need to see the contours clearly labeled, new items. So it's just the gravel fire pit and this gravel pad on the bottom. And I think the mitigation table just needs to be reworked to show those new areas being accounted for with the 2-to-1 mitigation.
Am I right that there's not enough square footage?
Yeah. And then there's one other concern of mine is after this gravel pad on the bottom, there's a cleared area and like a pile of,
Leaves.
I think it's just soil. That'll be picked up by Dan in the contour survey.
Okay.
But that cleared area is within the 50-foot buffer. And
Okay.
so it should be added to the mitigation area so that the 50 is fully vegetated.
Okay. Is that outlined on what you had told me, Brittany?
I think so all disturbed area within 50 to be planted,
Okay.
it's added in that note. So
Yep,
it just
I got it.
doesn't show
Yep.
this one little spot down here that's disturbed.
So just to extend the mitigation over,
Yeah, to all the disturbed area.
okay.
And what is this for?
That,
Storage.
that was a stone, you can see the pea stone base, that's just, we bought the house about 3 years ago, that was always there, and I just put the boats there, and then all that rock and stuff was landscaping materials that I had in the zone, in the 50-foot zone, not realizing it couldn't be there, so I moved it all over there, it's temporary, it's just there for now.
Okay. And this is going to be removed as well.
Yes. Yep, that was just an old fence, I put it down just so I could water the new mitigation plants.
My last question, sorry, is this landscape fabric in the mitigation area?
Say again?
Is this landscape fabric you have in the mitigation area?
It was plastic that I put down on top of, first I had put down the mulch, the pine bark mulch,
Yeah.
and then I wanted to hold that down, so I put the plastic on top of it. And then,
Yeah. The intent of the mitigation area is so that it naturalizes fully, so you won't need to weed it or anything. Obviously, if there's invasive plants popping up, you can weed it, but this should be taken up and the area seeded with a native mix, or just let it mulch itself.
oh, okay, so I could just throw some native grass mix down?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I had to have it just uncovered with pine bark mulch. I guess I misunderstood that.
Yeah, we just don't want any non-organic material in the mitigation area, so it should just be fully naturalized, so that plastic should come out.
All right.
That's all from me, thank you.
Another question?
Yeah, I was trying to find in the guidelines what, did we allow a fire pit in the 100-foot buffer?
We allow patios and hardscape in the 100-foot buffer, no closer.
The fire pit, is that hard, that's considered hardscape, that
Yeah.
requires mitigation?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So they are going to provide that.
So it seems that we need to continue to get the revisions.
Yeah, make sure you have no other comments. I sent them everything you see on the notes, if you have anything else.
Now, he mentioned that he's gonna remove the pile of,
Yeah,
yeah. We can just put that in our conditions when we get there, but. So I just need a motion to continue to when?
have you spoke with Dan
Not yet.
at all?
I had gone down the other day, but I couldn't get hold, I'm not sure what their time frame is, but
Okay. Do you want to try for 2 weeks from now? So that would mean he would need to get the plan to us in 1 week. And if he can't, you can just let us know and we'll delay it.
I'll talk to them tomorrow, or I'll talk to them tomorrow and see if that's possible and get right back to you.
Okay, we do need to, so we'll go for the 2 weeks and then we'll delay additionally if.
Okay.
So, I need a motion to continue to November 20th
20th,
meeting?
yeah.
Meeting?
So moved.
Anybody second?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you.
Who's signing anything?
Shoot. Let's see, Great Island we need to sign.
My goodness. Oops, I'm not doing my job.
By the time we get back again, huh?
Right, for sure. Wilder Rose and Uncle Roberts, did we do that yet? No. We only missed one.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, our next order of business is an RDA for, hold on, I got the wrong piece here. Deacon Crocker for Jeffrey Phipps, 86 Uncle Roberts Road, proposed removal of non-native and dead trees and native plantings in land subject to coastal flooding and the buffer zone to a coastal bank. Hi, could you introduce yourself? and-
Yeah, my name is Deacon Crocker. I own Local Landscape.
Just describe what you expect to do and,
Yeah, so there's an area, you guys did go out, right?
Yeah, we did.
In adjacent to the Great Islands Harbor, where they have their docks and things. And I had a new customer ask me if I could block his view, or we could not block his view, but give him privacy. And I was like, well, that seems like a magic trick. So he said, well, I'm thinking about lowering the road in front of his house. I said, well, you're probably not going to be able to do that, especially through you guys. You guys are a really eccentric guy, funny guy, but I think he was serious about that. So I said, instead, we could plant some native plants and we can try to keep them at a certain height, but it's, probably not going to work for he wants two things. But he has a lot of invasive species there, so I thought it was a good opportunity to clean the area up of invasive species and plant a lot of natives, which is usually my goal in my landscaping. And so I looked at that area there, and I like to plant a native meadow. There's some lelands in there that I think should never be planted on Cape Cod, and many of them are dead. So I'd like to remove the dead ones and the leaning ones. And I think I had 56 plants that I recommended we planted as a border to the road there. Now, I'm dealing with Great Island in that he actually doesn't have the right to plant exactly along the road because there's a zone of influence that Great Island has for their lots. So I have a meeting with them on Saturday, so I think they'll be set back even farther from the water. But just looking to get rid of its honeysuckle, bittersweet, that kind of thing. Clean it up. And I don't want it to look landscape, but I would like more natives in there,
So this is just a curiosity question. He has that beautiful window overlooking the harbor. Is that what he's trying to?
Yeah. Yeah, he says too many people look in it. But, again, I mean, we can't do two things,
Right.
But it really is just a matter of removing invasives that the honeysuckle is really kind of out of control there. Actually, somebody went in and cut it down, and it wasn't me. Between this meeting and now, I won't name
And are
names.
you proposing to use herbicides or just hand cutting?
Yeah, we're gonna dig them out.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would need we would have a mini excavator to dig out the honeysuckle and the dead and dying trees, the lelands, and that kind of thing. I wouldn't bring loam into that area. I would probably try to tail it a few times to exhaust the weeds in there and then seed it like next fall, probably. If Great Island lets me do that. The problem with that is they don't want to look at dirt all season. It's a really busy area for the island right there. It's really front and center, So if there was a situation where I had to bring in any kind of loam, I really don't foresee me doing that, and I'll let you know if I have to.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? Brittany, you have any questions?
This is a good project. Thank you. I would just recommend that all the tree removal and invasive debris be removed off-site,
Off island,
off-island.
because
Yeah.
they have their own pit, but off island completely.
I'm fine with just off of the
Yeah, just away from, yeah.
from the water,
Make a
off
big
of their
brush pile.
property.
Okay,
Yeah, bring it to
Right to the fire
an
pit.
approved location.
yeah. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just for -2 and 3, we want to make a motion?
So
Yeah.
moved. Oh,
Second.
Second, okay, we have a,
whatever.
okay, Ellie. Ellie, all in favor?
Aye.
It's going to get to that. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys very much.
You're all set.
Nice night.
We'll probably email your approval next week. Thank you.
Appreciate getting rid of the invasives.
Sir.
All right, next is Paul Power for Eileen Sullivan, 35 Iroquois Boulevard, proposed, addition in land subject to coastal flooding.
Yeah, you gotta sign that.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Mike Shea. I'm here representing Paul.
Okay.
He's en route to Florida. His mother took a pretty nasty fall. So my understanding, this came up kind of quick with me to represent him, was I believe this was just to show proof that
I'll take those.
all the service went out, notices and all that.
Thanks. Yeah, why don't you just give a brief description of the project, and if they have questions, they'll ask you.
My understanding is he's just doing a small addition to the property at this address, 34 Iroquois. I don't work with him. I'm just a friend here trying to
Okay, got it.
help out because he had to grab a flight to Florida.
And from these, I think no tree removal is required.
I do not believe so.
Okay. It's flood zone only.
Does it have a roof? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Just wanted to know if it had gutters and drainage off the roof, but.
When he briefly discussed it with me to come here tonight, I thought it was just for the notice.
Yeah.
Sent out to all the butters and all that for those.
Oh, it's for the whole project.
For the whole project, right.
So, I mean, the site looks very, very flat. But no, they're not, I don't see any proposed stormwater management.
You think everything's okay?
You can certainly ask for it if you'd like, but
No, I just was curious, I have nothing else on what was.
yeah.
Okay. So we could vote to recommend with a -2?
Yeah.
Can I have a motion? Pat Mo?
So move. Yeah.
Ellie, second? All in favor?
Aye. That's good.
-2 is a good thing.
Negative is a good thing. It's no impact.
Thank you. And thank you for filling in for him, too.
What's that?
Thank you for filling in.
I hope his mother is
It's okay.
okay.
Yes, a bad fall.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Next is for George Davis Incorporated for Robert and Ann Wiggins. 61 Pheasant Cove Circle, proposed addition in the buffer zone to a vegetated wetland.
I think you skipped one.
Did I skip one? Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
skipped 19.
sorry. We got 19 Channel Point, yeah.
Let me do that first. Sorry about that. Grady Consulting LLC for Dionysus Yanadas. I apologize if I mispronounced it. 19 Channel Point Drive, proposed hardscape and native plantings in land subject to coastal flooding.
Good evening. Could everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh. Hi, we actually require in-person representation for all of our RDAs, so it'll be up to the commission whether they'd like to hear you on Zoom.
Anybody have any issues with going ahead with Zoom? As long as we can hear you clearly. If we can't, we'll have to suspend the hearing.
Okay, my apologies. My name is Bart Lipinski. I am the landscape architect at Grady Consulting. We were hired by the Yanadas to help them restore the property at 19 Channel Point. We were brought in after, I guess there was pretty big swatches of invasive material and overgrown existing material that was cleared before we came onto the project. So if you were able to visit the site, you probably saw these two areas, basically the west property line and the rear property line. We did put together, well, it's all native plantings. The homeowners are interested in kind of creating this buffer around the property, but not limiting any views, especially off to the west where they could see the water. So it's again mostly natives. We have a variety, well, red cedars, dogwoods, inkberry, winterberry, bayberry along the perimeters. Perennials, foundation plantings around the house. There are two existing shrub masses. There's a big giant rhodie and a large burning bush right on the corner of Channel Point and Mark Way. So we were interested in removing those because it is a little tricky seeing the intersection or pulling out of the driveway. But we would be replanting the end of the existing wall, again with winterberry, hydrangea, perennials. We would create a crushed stone boat storage that we would screen from the abutter and from the homeowners, the residents. But we did do a pretty thorough visual survey of the neighborhood, and we're pretty confident that the plant palette that we do have is will have no issues with the environment, and we're just looking to clean up the property and kind of get it up to speed, to fit it in with everything else around them.
Okay, I just have a quick question. When you write fine grade, loam, fine grade, and seed, what is fine grade?
So basically, fine grade would be raked by hand, level out the area a little bit, add some loam so that we could actually expand the lawn area. Right now, where the invasives were, it's mostly sand. So yeah, fine grade would be, rake out the loam, get it nice and smooth, seed it, and let the lawn reestablish itself.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
I see that you have the proposed 185, I think that was meant to be square foot SF, concrete paver. I know there's sand-filled open joints, but did you look at perhaps using permeable pavers, or why was that decision made?
We just called it out as a concrete, which it could be a permeable concrete paver. It's really just the base that's different, and there is a little bit more space. But if we won't have any issues if it's a permeable paver patio. Like I did mention, to sit in that area and look off to the west is a pretty good view in the evenings. There's currently lawn in that space right now, so. But as mentioned, we would have no issues if it was a permeable concrete paver, and you're correct, it should be square footage. It's a small patio off the existing deck.
Can we put that in the?
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll put that in the condition to be permeable.
Thank you. It's beautiful landscaping.
Thank you, we did have a little bit of coordination with Brittany about some of the original plants, and we could update our plant list because it appears that we missed
there's just
one
one.
hibiscus. There are actually, we did replace them with beach plum, so it should be 4 beach plum and no hibiscus. So we could update that and include that when we update the note on the papers.
That would be perfect. Thank you. That was my only comment. That only one made it in there. I didn't actually find it on the plan anywhere, so it might just be somewhere behind a layer.
Yep, it's not on the plan. I think once we finished, we possibly just didn't update that plant list.
Anything else, Brittany?
No, I would recommend a -2.
Okay. Can I hear a motion to recommend a -2 with the new plan?
I'll do it.
Second?
Second?
Ellie, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'll go back to where it was.
That needs a signature. Yes.
Past Iroquois. That's Channel Point. There's 2. And we're on Pheasant Cove Circle, okay. So now we'll go to George Davis for Robert and Ann Wiggins, 61 Pheasant Cove Circle, proposed addition in a buffer zone to a vegetated wetland. Could you introduce yourself? That would be great.
Good evening. My name is George Davis. I'm here on behalf of Bob and Ann Wiggins. I confess I don't typically handle conservation hearings for my clients. It's not my area of expertise, but I'll answer any questions that you have.
I have that, I need this. Doing here.
Yeah, so this is a small 240 square foot addition in the outer buffer to a wetland in the flood zone. It will require the removal of 2 8 to 10 inch red cedars. Once that photo loads. And they are agreeing to provide some mitigation at the proper ratio. But it's my understanding that the homeowners are intending to submit a notice of intent for a garage expansion soon in the future.
Yes, there is a phase 2 to this project that will be applied for at a later date.
Yes. Do you know when?
Hopefully this spring,
Okay,
before, or even this
spring.
winter. So,
Okay.
sooner than later, where it's really a timing issue with Down Cape Engineering.
Okay. And so they've got the area allocated, but since they have another plan in process, they're going to make sure to include this allocated area, but have the details on the surveyed site plan when they submit the notice of intent with the plant outlines and everything for that. So it's Down Cape Engineering is the surveyor?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, Down Cape.
There's also one other issue on the site. There's a walkway out into the wetland that's not permitted, and so Down Cape will have to include that on the notice of intent, or the homeowners will have to remove it. I don't know why it's not going to this address. There's also a number of open order of conditions for this site that I'll send to Down Cape that they need to have closed when they submit their notice of intent.
Mhm.
Close.
So that line that kind of goes off the drawing, that's a 100-foot buffer? Corner?
Yes.
Okay, I see it now, yeah.
So here's that walkway.
So,
Right out into the
am I
buffer.
right, when they come back, he has to include the walkway in it or take it out?
Yeah, so the walkway will have to be removed since it's unpermitted, or they have to include it in the future NOI. Understanding that they will likely have to make changes, basically elevating it and providing spacing since it's killing all the vegetation below it, and there can be no adverse impact in the wetland.
You also have to have some spacing between the boards.
Yeah, so I can send this all to Down Cape.
Yeah.
And the homeowner.
Yeah.
So we really didn't need the house plans, right? You submitted, I think they're house plans from 1988, or?
The plan,
I just didn't know if I was supposed to look at those for anything new.
yeah, the plan is for an addition. This is for the RDA is for an addition.
Right, but I couldn't. Where? Find
It's
it.
the yellow.
The addition is in yellow, this is the addition.
Right, yeah, but these
Oh,
plans
yeah.
don't have drawings, these.
Yeah, we
drawings-
don't generally need the building.
Yeah, we don't need the house
building plans.
Yeah, that's all. I was like, it's like, what's the? Yeah,
Confuses us.
it confuses us, yeah.
Yeah, I think that when they come back, they need to think about that boardwalk, because I'll be honest with you, I would not approve that boardwalk as it is. It'd have to be up
Yeah.
higher, so it's not destroying the vegetation, and spacing would need to be underneath it, and we just don't want any negative impact. And we'd have to know what kind of wood they're using for the boardwalk.
And the footings.
Is it pressure treated? If not. So I think we need to come up with a date that we would need if the NOI, or definitely have to get rid of the boardwalk by.
I think April 1st, if you said they're aiming for spring, they could probably do the notice by then or get rid of it if they don't want to include it.
That way plantings can be done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, earlier than April 1st would be great, but.
Oh, for us as well.
But so the addition, you're trying to do that this winter, right? Before the next phase?
Yeah, the objective is to get the addition done
Small one.
before the summer so that they can use the house in the summer as they would imagine you'd like them to be able to. And then the garage addition doesn't so much impact their use of the house. Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
Okay. Great.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
I got lost. Is this a circle or the road? Pleasant Cove?
Say it again.
Is it Pleasant Cove Circle or Pleasant Cove Road?
Pheasant Cove Circle.
Okay, so you have to change that on the drawings. That's embarrassing. It's like looking for-
It also looks like you are showing the garage addition on this plan.
We've tried to take that out several times. I think we had the same issue with historic.
Okay.
I think
Fine with also, if you're fine with me crossing it out and
just crossed it
signing
out. Yeah, it's not supposed to be on the plan.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll make the square footage
I've had to
clear.
explain myself several times on that.
So I'd recommend a -3 with planting plan or included in the notice by the spring.
Okay.
On the deck, I'm a little confused on we're talking about increasing the spacing, but are we talking about that for now?
No.
No.
That's going to be later.
Yeah, so the deck, this walkway was put in without a permit, so it's a violation.
But the deck, when they do come for it later,
Yeah,
are we
we'd,
going to be talking about raising it?
yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, so we'd expect to see it at least modified to include it being elevated, probably at least 3 feet.
Yeah.
And including deck spacing similar to our dock and pier regulations.
Which I presume that's, with the piles they have there, that would accommodate that, right?
They don't have any piles. It's just, they
I'm
just have
thinking of the
4x4s.
Yeah.
This is right on the
I mean, just to be clear, if they don't want to change that, then they just have to take it out, go from there. Those are their two choices, to come back with a plan they know will accept, or just take it out by April 1st. That's their choice. Okay, anybody in the audience, anybody online? Lots of people online.
Yeah, I don't know what everyone's here.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept with a -3, special conditions?
Yeah.
Anybody second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? No.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you
great.
very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Would have proposed the house.
Okay. Next one is Jeremy Anderson for Harry Stroud, 9 Widmere Road, Unit 8, proposed decks in the buffer zone to a coastal bank.
Different names. Road, circle.
Does not look like it.
So what do we do?
We'll skip it and come back to
Hello?
it later.
Oh, here we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Get the memo.
Hi, this
Hi.
is Jeremy Anderson, representing Harry and Kathy Stroud for 9 Windermere Unit A.
I'm going to say the same thing we said earlier, that normally we expect people to be here who are representing rather than online.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I got an email that said either in location or at Zoom, so I thought Zoom was okay. I apologize.
Oh, no, it's in all of our filing forms that you have to be here. But it's up to the commission.
We'll listen to you as long as we can understand you. That's why sometimes we have trouble with Zoom, and so if we have a problem, we'll just have to continue. But go ahead.
Understandable. I apologize again. So Harry and Kathy Stroud are looking to put a 9'6" by 6" deck on the back of their condo, similar to the one to the to the left, if you're looking at the back of the condo, as the neighbor, as well as their front porch is currently, I believe it's 6 foot by 5 foot, and they want to extend that to 12 foot by 5 foot. And it's within the buffer zone, so they're willing to put mitigation plantings in. I believe they selected 18 red fern and 4 beach plum. And then I'm open to any questions you may have.
So we're having 285 square feet of mitigation?
That's accurate.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I was just wondering if we could get something better for the record, or is this document sufficient?
For a planting plan,
Yeah.
that's up to the commission. I mean, it's a sketch plan with the RDA. Usually we'd require we need to know the pot sizes and the spacing, but I did send them the Barnstable County list, which is how they made this plan. So as long as they use at least 3 gallons, and we could put a special condition, pot size is 3 gallons and spacing consistent with Barnstable County. It's a 7-foot wide, 40-foot long bed they should be able to implement. But that is a good point, and that's what one of my proposed policy updates will be for our next meeting, is to have sufficient planting plans from a professional, so it's easy for the homeowner to implement in the future.
But it just wasn't definitive either. Actually, I think I would rather use 21, like, what, you know what I mean? Like, what is he gonna, right?
Yeah.
The comment was
Yeah, I think you should revise the landscape plan to show proposed 21 sweet fern, 3 gallons at 3 foot on center, and proposed 4 beach plums, 3 gallons, 5 foot on center, because it's just kind of open-ended, and we need to have a date on it and the author.
That kind of stuff, yeah. No, I think the hand drawing is great, you know, of the deck. It's just like, it's what it used to be.
Okay, so you're saying the hand drawing of the deck is not sufficient?
Oh, no, I think that's fine.
Oh, the deck is fine. It's the planting plan. We just needed to have, the address, the date, the author, and the plants proposed, instead of you saying, actually, I think I would rather, you know what I mean?
Like something more definite.
Okay, so the plan I dropped off, that would need to be updated with the author, the 3 gallon plants, and then the 5 foot on center. Is that
The
correct?
one with the yellow plants on it.
Okay.
We passed 61 physical.
Well, it's got SF and BP.
I think what we could do is approve with the,
Yeah, you can't continue an RDA, so you would have to
Right.
condition it.
we'll approve with the condition that you send Brittany the plan so she can approve it.
Okay, I can do that.
So let's, let me hear a -3 for
Which is a good thing.
9 Windmere Road. Motion?
So move.
Pat?
Second.
Ellie? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so just get the plan to a better plan to Brittany, and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate your time. You guys have a good evening,
You
and
too.
ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Holdo.
Can you mute yourself? Thanks.
Okay. Brittany, I'm not sure how this got in there.
That's a continuance request that you need to read for our next item.
That's the next. Okay, so the next one is, hold on. How many pieces of paper here? Yep. SE 83-1899, the continued request for COC, Deborah Salvucci, 54 Heritage Drive. I have a letter from her. Good morning, Brittany. I would like to request an extension on the hearing for file numbers 083-1923 and 83-1899 regarding 15 Heritage Drive that was scheduled for this Thursday to be moved to the November 20th meeting. I apologize for the inconvenience. Appreciate your help with everything. Do I hear a motion to accept? So moved. Jack?
Yeah.
Second.
Second.
Ellie? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So I put that back here.
You're up.
Next
What's
is
the date?
The 20th.
November 20th.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next one is a COC for Tim and Claudia Norton at 13 Webster Road.
Patience.
We have anything we need to?
Hello. Yes, so last time, sorry, 1 second. We requested for the COC to be complete, for them to plant some additional shrubs. They've planted the woody shrubs along the border. The natives are in. And we've also requested that the wall be certified from Down Cape Engineering, so as it would be confirmed to perform its original function. Down Cape Engineering has certified the wall, as has a representative for the neighbor. He had an engineer look at the wall as well, and so Ron Cadillac is happy with the wall. So based on those two items, I would recommend that the commission issue the certificate of compliance with ongoing conditions 7, 11, and 12. And those ongoing conditions are just, I can get them out for you. They would go in perpetuity with the house. And those are they remain pervious materials. The vegetation will be removed, and no dumping in the vegetation area.
Thank you. Yes.
So do I hear a motion to accept to the COC?
So moved.
Thank you. Second, Jack, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So, all done.
This is a time crunch, right? Or
Couple of weeks.
Okay.
The 17th is a closing.
17th? Okay, we'll have it to you before then. So Down Cape would have to come pick it up,
Oh, is that, okay.
unless you want us to mail it, but sometimes that can take a while. So I can coordinate with them to come pick it up.
Yes. Could
Okay.
you? Is that,
Yeah, no worries.
thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank-
All right, next is SE 83-2213, James and Tanny Sabin, 66 Nottingham Drive. The COC requests it's okay to issue, ongoing conditions 15 through 19. Do I hear a motion to accept?
I did email Down Cape to tell them that no one needed to come, but I guess they didn't tell you. They said they would send
Sorry
you the
about that.
memo.
We did our best.
Sorry.
Gonna accept.
You got it.
You might as well wait till we vote.
Thank you, guys.
So moved.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So Pat moved, second.
Motion to adjourn.
Ellen?
Have a great evening.
Next. Yeah.
Jack, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Passed. Well, we did our best to try to.
I let them know.
All right. Next on our agenda is the approval of minutes from 10/16/25. Do we have enough people to vote? Was Ellie, are you here at 10/16? No, so we have to wait on that.
Yep.
Okay, so we have to delay that. And do you want to make your announcement?
Yeah, so the town, I applied for a Massachusetts state land grant. It's through the Department of Conservation Services, and we received our grant. It's for the Article 11 under town meeting is for the acquisition of a parcel of land directly adjacent to Taylor Bray Farm. It's 3.14 acres. And so the land grant is an award for reimbursement to 54% of the purchase price. So right now the award is $327,000.
For you.
So just because this town meeting is right before our next meeting, and the contract just has to get, obviously we have to wait to make sure we get approved. Hopefully everyone come to town meeting, please, and vote for our land acquisition. We just want to get the contract out to them as soon as possible after town meeting, so they have all the paperwork in hand, so we have
When is
The
it,
whole-
17th?
Yeah, town meeting is on the 17th at 6 p.m. at the DY Intermediate School. We do have to get all the commissioners to sign it, so I'll have to track down Paul and Bradford. But if there are 2 copies there,
Right.
you could sign both.
Now, where's the rest of the money coming from?
The total purchase price is $600,000, so the rest of the funding is coming from, would be coming from community preservation and free cash, pending the approval of the town meeting vote. It's all in a single article.
Great.
Okay, there are 2 signatures.
Thanks.
Congratulations. That's very nice. Okay, anybody, let's see, is there any other special town meetings on here?
Yeah.
Any other business not reasonably anticipated?
Nope.
Nice tour of the plant, wastewater plant. A little wet, but nice. Rain came heavily down just when I got in the car. Things are moving along. I guess what we voted on tonight will be the new pumping station, I think. Even though at our meeting on Monday, they said they had 3 possible areas, but since we're not voting on the other 2, I assume this is going to go through. I don't know what the selectmen voted on Tuesday.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
So, hearing nothing else, should we vote to adjourn? A motion to adjourn?
I think so, I will.
Okay. And second by Pat, all in favor?
Aye.
That was mine.
We are adjourning at officially 6:35.